All right, so the one of the bigger changes that flanks the entire system change is also that we looked at specifically the long ammo weapons, and one of the dynamics that we've been also dragging around for a long time is just that how, for example, like the smaller handgun versions, etc., of long ammo can kind of feed into the ammo pools. We had this initially with the Aftermath and other pieces, and one of the changes we discussed and kind of like rallied around was we should split long ammo. We should split it into like the more traditional black powder, slow
wait a minute. It says a
muzzle
mark.
velocity, but heavy hitting card, basically long ammo as you know it. And then we have separated out from that one the more modern cartridges, like a more faster, better burning propellants. Usually that translates in with these weapons into like lower damage because like it's just like more piercing through. It's not like causing that much like trauma. But obviously they're more modern. They're more precious. They're just maybe even almost experimental at that time. They're just being introduced like Spitze rounds, for example, a thing that was just like really really new around the turn of the century. So that level of kind of like rarity that you have around these weapons, I think we thought is best represented by calling it now the special long ammo category. So we have split them. So yeah, all of the modern bolt action rifles, the military grade rifles specifically, are using that new type, and that means they need special ammo boxes to resupply, not regular ammo boxes. While the more traditional, more vintage rifles and weapons, like even the uppercut, etc., they kind of use like that older classic black powder version, and they can resupply from regular boxes. Now the interesting part is that they are not interchangeable, which means you can't use one type to kind of like top up the other one.
So like Boethier uppercut is not going to give you the reserve ammo that it did before. Yeah, I think it's interesting. It kind of, again, as you mentioned, it goes with the whole package of this rework, right? So
yeah.
And I actually already seen a question from Poor Purse asking if the ammo changes to the Mosin also apply to the variants of the Mosin.
Yes. Yeah. From a basic Mosin over
I need to fix it because obviously this isn't Battlefield.
All those, they're all impacted by. They all use the same cartridge, and it's the same thing. Like for example, why both the Berthier and the Lebel are both using it, because in real life they actually also share the same Lebel round. I think 8.5 or whatever millimeters.
If anyone would know, Dennis.
So like we just try to have at least a certain consistency there. Like ammo supply has always been a bit of an abstraction in our game.
Yeah.
Or like kind of hard categorizing weapons rather than like, oh, this is not exactly that caliber, therefore it doesn't fit. We've always had a bit more lenience going on there, but we felt in this case like having one more separations step helps us from a balancing side. And make sure that, like, yeah, Mosin gun is still powerful. There's no changes to the gun itself, the ballistics, the power, the damage, but it resupplies differently now, and that alone just changes the entire economy around it.
And with that also came some changes how ammo boxes will and how they resupply.
Yeah. So the main reason for that one is to kind of support the special long ammo change. Because specifically, like weapons like the Mosin family, like they had the stripper clip reload with the 5 rounds. The box just gave you 5 rounds, which means you just took the box, had your aftermath or whatever in there, and then instantly pressing reload, whoop, in goes those 5 rounds, which means you kind of top up very quickly. You're right back in the fight in no time. And just felt like, is there anything we can do? And this was actually one of those reasons we thought, like, yeah, let's change the rule set. So what they do right now is they have a 2.5 ratio of a regular ammo box. So where like a normal ammo box gives you like 2 rounds, be that special or regular ammunition, like that one always gave you 5 rounds. And we're changing that to a ratio, or so that's like going to be like 20% less basically. And that means you only get 4 rounds of long ammo as an example. And that's not enough for the stripper clip. So unless you had some excess ammunition, like then you might still obviously have like enough.
Yeah.
But like by default, let's say I'm emptying my aftermath, I might be able to get 1 or 2 stripper clips in from the total amount I got from my like maybe 4 ammo boxes I brought. But I still have to kind of top up at the end, and maybe that costs a bit of time, and it's just a bit of a taxing factor here.
And we do have some other ammo-related balance change as well, like to the Dolch.
Yeah. So the Dolch is a consistency change. So we're introducing obviously the like special long ammo.
Yeah.
So the Dolch ammo was just called Dolch ammo. So we're kind of like saying, yeah, it makes sense. Let's just call it special medium ammo.
It has the same rule set, right? Like it's not medium, and it needs to be resupplied at special boxes. So.
And this consideration that we applied to the long special long ammo we kind of had exactly that thought experiment, like, was it like 7 years ago, 6 years ago, with the Dolch and the balancing around that one, where the argument was like, it's like kind of like a very new weapon, very prototypey, very exotic at that time. The ammunition is also very modern in terms of like high velocity, etc. Like it reeks of like everything's kind of like precious about it. And therefore, we always say, like, that's perfectly fine that this text extra, it's just harder to get more ammunition for it. And the same rule set now we've applied to the special long ammo. So, but for consistency, they're the same.
It was medium in the very beginning, right?
Yeah, exactly. At the very, very beginning, it was medium. I think
was what?
Literally, like the first balancing between the Dolch, and then we introduced the packs. I think like a year and a half or so. Like I think that was one of those early access weapons we released in the beginning of 2019, if I recall correctly.
Long ago. Yeah.
The packs was basically a carbon copy in terms of damage and performance from the Dolch, but the Dolch projectile was just a little bit faster.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much the same. Both were medium at the time. And that led to some of the balancing problems we've then since then encountered and tried to solve.
We also have some other weapon balancing changes, which are mostly to the ammo pool adjustments. Let's talk about those a bit.
If we could just go back for a second.
Yeah.
To talk about this.
We're live on YouTube again.
Yes.
God damn it, I did it again.
One. All right, so we do have another big thing, and that's probably one of the more controversial flanking changes. Also, like looking at you guys' feedback so far, is that we.
No, we're good.
Far, let's maybe take one step back. Like so far, we've identified certain ammo types that and decided to make them scarce. And our routine we kind of came up back then was like, we're gonna rotate them through a little bit. So once in a while we change them, etc. But ultimately, because we couldn't really find good solutions sometimes to fix some of them, we also didn't really want them to return, like Dum on the Centennial, for example, by default, or like on the Dolch. So we kind of were stuck in this loop. So despite us telling people like, yeah, we're going to rotate through and there's going to be some cool dynamics there, that never really manifested. Looking at the wider system change now that we do around the inventory, we thought, okay, let's maybe have a clear look. How do we want the role of these ammo types to be in the future?
All right.
And for that reason, we said, Dum, Explosive, and Spitzer are the ones which are amongst like the most controversial. And obviously, that's a very subjective thing. Yeah. Some people also really hate Incendiary or other. Like, there's probably an argument to be made for many of those. But in general, I think Dum is on top of the list, and then Spitzer maybe second, and Explosive, depending on the weapon and stuff. Like some of them can feel a bit obnoxious at times, just like especially on spam weapons if equipped. So we decided that those three categories are now actually being treated as a scarce per category rule. Yep. And this is no longer about rotating through. This is just like, these are now scarce. And we thought it was important to just have this as a starting piece now to kind of like have this conversation to see how that changes the dynamics, especially like with the inventory slot sizes and sidearms, and all of a sudden, like maybe certain sidearms that might have really relied on a specific ammo type, like Dum, they maybe become a little bit less attractive to pick. And we hope that like this, as a general shake-up, we will see like what weapons are actually sticking, what people want to go for. And then obviously there will be future balancing around those weapons, so that if we really see this weapon here, like for example, a Springfield, really relied on this one ammo type, like to make it really, really, really feasible. It was the only way it existed. Then of course we now have to go in and have a look. It's like, can we already predict like how they will be used? And we see your usage from the first couple of weeks, and we can derive like balancing for the next updates based on around that. So this is start of the conversation, but we want to have a bit of a stick in the ground, saying like, these are all scars now. That changes the dynamics, and it gives us more of a pristine weapon behavior by default, especially for those that felt like really, just like dominating certain weapon choices. And then we kind of take it there step by step and rewind. Kind
of what it also does for us is give players a nice chase goal within a game to find the scarce ammo they want, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they come across a cargo crate. With the scarce ammo they want.
So. That might be uplifting.
They might be able to lift them out.
Yeah. I mean,
we're live on YouTube,
without throwing too many puns
Twitch.
in here, because that would be a bit like inflating. I think that like there's also just in general a higher seed of these, which means players will also just have a bit more easier access to some of those. But there's obviously like this element of randomness part of it, and that becomes a chase goal. Like take it from the guy on the ground, like, look, that guy at Springfield, and he has Dum. Actually, maybe you want to bring that weapon out now.
All right.
And we think it's interesting, but obviously it's a conversation, and we need to see how you guys respond to it. So if everybody hates it, of course we do some changes to it, but we actually feel pretty good about just like the clean slate it creates. And speaking of clean slate, that's also a mechanism that we want. This is why. This is a bit of different what we had in the past, right? In the past, we kind of always had to keep these type of changes away from you because, like, oh shit, now they mention it. Everybody is kind of stockpiling them now. Like,
I already saw the post of like, the guy with 300 dum-dum ammo.
I still remember, like, I think at one point we did a balancing change to the saber, and it would actually so that if you sell them, you would sell them with a profit. And we had people having like hundreds of sabers or so in there, and then we even had to go into the database and kind of like clean out some of those pieces. We want to avoid that, so we want to be open, transparent about these changes. And now we have the ability to actually say, you know what, we can clean this properly. We can say, by doing these changes, we, for example, sell some of those instances for you so that everybody starts with the same amount maximum. So if you had some of them, now we will sell them so that everybody kind of has the same scarcity experience rather than some players like, I'm so clever, I bought 50 instances, and basically that balancing change doesn't affect them for the next like foreseeable future. So obviously that helps us with the housekeeping and balancing, and we can also be more open and communicating about these changes moving forward.
Absolutely. As Rohan mentioned, I also saw the Reddit post about the 600 and that's the only reason I tried to skip ahead so he doesn't get disappointed. So, but it's true. But I think now we can actually get into the costume, the extra ammo changes. For the weapon.
So let's pivot over to the weapons then. So we talked about this a little bit as we explained the new system. Because weapons might be shifting into different categories now. So like, let's say a rifle now is like a size 3 weapon. We can
That's what I need to learn, though. I don't quite understand what he means by size 1, 2, 3 weapon.
For example,
just the size of the weapon, or
to justify
is that like
really
what we have
a lot of extra ammunition? Because that way we could say, like, you know, we only have like that many rounds loaded into the weapon. We give you so much more extra because otherwise, why would you ever not pick, let's say, the Ranger or something else? And now these weapons are competing against each other within their class, within the size 3, within size 4, etc. So we're doing some corrections here and there about some of the extra capacity, because in some cases you can even get like 2 of those, right?
Yep, and then double your ammo reserves, right?
Yeah, so just to keep everything in check there, we're kind of a bit more conservative. I think in general it also helps a little bit with like some of the spam pieces that some of you are really upset about. Where you can just like spam too much, etc. Like, ammo becomes a bit more precious for some of those guns. So the smaller weapon you have, and the exception is the handguns, which still give you a ton of extra ammunition. So it's a
I kind of wish Facebook Live was still a thing too, like
compared to, let's say,
Facebook
a size
gaming.
2 or size 3 weapon.
I'm surprised it's not
more scarce. Depending on their size level, you have a little bit, maybe less ammunition, because we also rely now that you actually bring a stronger backup weapon to complement it. So I don't think we need to go through all of those now, but you can kind of see that that design philosophy I just outlined kind of is in spirit for all of those changes, kind of like nudging them in and making sure they're sitting into the right categories.
So there's just some other examples to see as well.
In some cases, it also means we actually increase, right? Yep. So like the uppercut, for example, you might have seen it earlier in the system explanation. The uppercut is now a size 2 weapon. It's no longer a size 1, which limits like how you can combine it in certain loadouts, right? So if you want it to be together with, let's say, a Mosin Nagant or another size 4 weapon, you need Quartermaster to do that. Now, because it no longer then, because of this change, competes directly with, let's say, the True Shot, with the Scottfields, the Packs, of these other weapons, which very often in the past got dominated by that weapon choice.
Often referred to as a medium slot or 2-slot weapon as a firearm or tool that takes up exactly 2 of your hunter's inventory slots. We can actually now undo some of the balancing we had to do back then. A rifle would be what, like a 3
one size weapons,
size 3
now
weapon?
It's no longer in the same class even. It competes against the other size 2 weapons. So we can give the uppercut some extra ammunition back because it can stand on its own now, but it has other competitors now within its class. And that extends, for example, to the uppercut precision and Deadeye as well, which go to size 3. So obviously they do compare with some of the bigger rifles. So in this case, extra ammunition is actually a really strong argument for bringing those, because I mean, you now have 18 spare rounds long ammo for that one. That on its own again is a quality that might make you choose that one, let's say, over a specific other rifle.
Yeah, and similarly for the Nitro Express, right? It's a 5 slot, so you really are taxing yourself by bringing it in, so it needs a little bit of a bump there.
Yeah, just give you like one more reload basically in there. And we also did at the same time, some corrective pieces there. For example, from our data side, like one of the very effective, not really meta, not really overused, but still, if people brought it, they brought it mostly with that purpose is Dragon Bolts and on the hand crossbow. And we just want to say like, okay, well, you can still do that. You still have your thing. They're a bit weaker, maybe. We talk about, I think, some of the other balancing a little later down the line. But in terms of ammunition, for example, it just goes down by one extra round because we also want you to kind of use and try out the other bolts a little bit more. And we felt like Dragon Bolts were kind of like the dominating choice within the hand crossbow. And we want to diversify this a little bit more.
Yeah, and then similarly, the Auto 4 kind of dominates its class of.
So yeah, if you don't want to watch on the Purple channel, we are live on
even
Kick.
though going up to 3, we still
as well as YouTube
warranted to kind of like have that because a semi-automatic shotgun is still like one of the most powerful things you can have in this game.
Okay. And to kind of round off this topic of the inventory slots rework and the balancing around it, we have some other adjustments to some of them.
I don't know why my bottle leaks once in a while.
Because some of the weapons are also becoming very strong choices in the new categories. So like the Officer Carbine is an example of a size 3 weapon. We also did additional like balancing around those, just make it a bit harder to kind of do the spammy fighting with it. The Officer Carbine is very interesting because we seem to be touching this one every second update and doing something to the recoil. But it's interesting because it kind of like tries to find its new home every once in a while.
We are going to be streaming more and more on multi-streaming,
which I think is fair. And we mentioned the hand crossbow, so in this case, actually promoting the regular bolts.
I'd also like to do Rumble, but
having a bit of a tax on the Dragon Ball, so you can't just burn
get more followers
so
on there
easily anymore. It still is a very powerful tool for you, like blocking stuff, and also even using offensively.
Pixie did 2 days ago. There we go.
You might want to consider, or at least not bring both stacks being the same ammo type. But
so yeah, I only have 3 followers.
And then we have the Mako muzzle velocity being reduced from 540 to 440, which is, I mean, making it more in line about those black powder kind of long ammo guns, and it being in its separate class now that it's not. I mean, it's not special ammo, long ammo, right?
Exactly. So like this one really has going for itself that you can just resupply from regular ammo, so you can still fire this. And we've recently buffed it, and these buffs are still there.
Yeah.
So the only thing we've done now is like kind of take a step back with the ammunition and muzzle velocity. So it's, I mean, black powder charges at the time they could only ever really propel projectiles up to a certain speed, and we're almost at the top there. I think 500 something was the maximum you could really get out of some of those, but it feels more appropriate for the type of weapon, and also makes sure that there's a bit of a class difference now, and you kind of see the pros and cons between choosing this one versus others. And then the last one is that because the Berthier is also one of those suspected winners at the moment. From the system being a size 3 as being like a carbine type of version, is that we just increase the price a little bit.
I can do
That's not the main reason for balancing it, but just adds like an additional cost, an additional burden on top of that one, so that all of the variants go up by 50. But the Berthier, for example, if you saw on the previous slide, also has bled quite a lot of extra ammunition pieces there, like going down by I think almost 50%. So it is now competing in the size 3 category, and as such it doesn't have to have as much ammunition as it had in the past, because you don't choose between it and the Mosin anymore. You choose between it and, let's say, the Ober's Match or our new 1890 cavalry.
The what? A new one?
The 1890.
I thought we were done with the stream now. There's more?
There's more?
But yeah, before closing this segment, again, just to mention, as the update comes out, make sure to try it, play around with the system a bit, try out all the new possibilities, and leave us your feedback, because it will be very, very important. For
we've been browsing and continue browsing through a lot of the different comments, like in different videos. For example, some of the partner videos that have been released recently, with like different trends where people just like that part, but they might hate that part. But another person says, "But I really actually like that part that you hate, but I had it." This is good. This is great. Yeah. This is what we want. We want you guys to talk about this. We want you to kind of compare, and there's a lot of this is like preference as well, right? Like, so based on your playstyle, how what you prefer, what you hate, it kind of like obviously finds itself also into the wider balancing aspects here. So tell us what you think, keep on posting, but also like be open to it. Like, you can try it out very soon on the servers, and then tell us what you actually experience and practice, and take it from there.
And you started talking about already the new goodies, so we do have some more to talk about.
There's more.
There's more. There's always more at the end. So what about that big Maxim M1895?
So basically, like, we talked about the strongholds earlier, right? And these strongholds, they're defended. There's a monster lurking there, like, and it's not the caged boss.
He's eaten. So
it is actually that monster is the Maxim 1895. Now, what this is like it's a new prototype machine gun, and you can find it exclusively in the strongholds. There's only ever going to be one in the one stronghold. There's no others on the map, and also, if you pick it up, it has lots of drawbacks and handicaps, and you can also not extract it. So it is not a weapon you can collect like the Shredder or the Flame Rifle. It's not a scarce weapon. This is just a world weapon that lives and spawns in there, and whoever comes there first can use it and utilize it, for example, in helping in the defense. Or maybe even like that, drag it along to the next boss compound and use it
completely demolish a boss.
Just that one boss, and then probably it's empty. Now, so therefore, it's a really contained but very powerful weapon piece. What's interesting about this is like, as you can see from even like the namesake, like this is a weapon that was just like recently introduced. Well, kind of Maxim machine guns, I think they've been around since like the mid 80s or so of that one. So like the water cooled ones, etc. And have started to kind of appear in different militaries around that time. Actually, the US Army, they were just exclusively using Gatling guns at that time still, right? Like the hand crank, multi-barrel pieces, not the modern ones. And like during that time, there were army trials, so they were trying to take an interest into these like new European pieces of technology and what they're figuring out. Because obviously the U.S. Army, I mentioned in the beginning, was very small at that time. It was mostly frontier based, right? They weren't really in a big war since the Civil War, and as such, like they had a small standing force. But they're still trying to modernize and had these army trials. So you can very well imagine that maybe
Commander
Whitlaw was kind of like maybe just snatching a couple of those from those trials as he made his way over to the bayou and the mountains. So it's an interesting kind of experimental piece, but yeah, the way they've used it is not how you use it, because normally it would be like a tripod-mounted stationary weapon, but that's been destroyed. So you basically pick up the pieces from it,
live on
and
Rumble
then you
now.
start to carry it. So they kind of makeshift, like put a handling, like a carrying handle in front of it, and it's very awkward to use. But yeah. Let's have a look at it.
All right. Well, we are live on
first of all,
Rumble,
picture of
YouTube, Kick.
Looks really cool,
Twitch.
but we can play the video
Yeah.
as well to see how it plays in the game.
It's the box of death.
It is definitely badass.
Absolutely badass.
So what you can see here is like the weapon kind of has an overheating mechanic as well. So you can just spam those shots, like it overheats very quickly. The main reason for that one is obviously from a gameplay balance perspective, but also this weapon fires only incendiary ammunition, and you can kind of see like it kind of heats up a lot faster than maybe it would in real life because of that. What it means is that because it is incendiary ammunition, you can't really wall pan with it, right? Like, so those who are being shot at by that thing actually do have a chance to survive because they can kind of find shelter between like some debris and fences, etc.
I think just experiencing the Maxim in the Stronghold is an awesome experience. Being in the trenches, getting fired at.
Yeah. Even with all the shots missing, although by
it's really good at drawing outlines. I think.
Like the tracers really help with this as well, because there's just like this stream of fire your way, and even though the chance of hitting someone at like 50-ish or more meters, right, is very slim, you will get the occasional headshot, and if that happens, everybody.
There'll be a guy on Reddit like 80-meter Maxim headshot.
Everybody starts laughing manically.
We're going
when it
to
happens.
be live everywhere from
actually,
here on
it's a pretty
out.
fun moment. Even honestly, I've also been on the receiving end of it. It is quite fun because
my streaming PC can handle it. So
I call it like it's kind of so unexpected at that moment. Obviously, in short range encounters, this thing is massive, right? Like, so if you encounter this one in, let's say, one of the trenches outside, there's a very slim chance to survive.
Videos.
However,
on Rumble.
You also walk very slowly when you carry that weapon. We talked about the overheat mechanic, and if you overdo this, the weapon can even like malfunction and jam, and then you kind of need to clear the jam pressing the reload button or the X button. So this weapon is also not easy to use. You have to be very careful and be very considerate around how to use it. So in some ways, some people consider it like, oh, it's more of a meme thing, it's more fun. It does have its purpose, it does have its role, but you have to also kind of understand its limitations to make most use of it.
Yeah, I think like you have to play really smart with it, because in the end, as we mentioned, a shotgun will demolish you in short range as well. So you need to make sure you have the upper hand, but it allows for you to get 1 or 2 kills where you would have gotten only the singular.
Yeah, and like this thing melts bosses as well, right? Like, so if you manage to drag this on, let's say to the next compound somewhere, and there's a boss, except for the butcher, because he's
he's fire resistant.
He's kind of fire resistant, so just don't. But all the other ones, like this thing, exception Hellborn of course as well. But like from the regular bosses, this thing can melt through quite quickly. So it's also a way for you to shortcut that boss a little bit. But maybe it's not worth it if you actually had to take like a minute longer to even get there, because you're kind of slogging with like, I think it's like 25-ish%.
It's 25%.
Like reduction in your movement speed. So you're also much more of a target when you traverse.
So then, of course, you cannot extract with it either from the mission.
Yeah, exactly. That's a super important piece. It's not a weapon you can hoard. It's an opportunity that you can find. It's the monster defending the strongholds, and can be wielded by whoever arrives there first.
Absolutely, but it's not the only new weapon in the update, and we kind of mentioned this already a few times. So it's the 1890 Cavalry.
Yeah, so the 1890 Cavalry is a very interesting piece because it doesn't really look special on first glance, right? It's like, oh, single shot rifle, but there's quite a few of them already out there. So what's its purpose? I mean, there's one thing in there disconnected from the gameplay. Like, this is the actual military army service rifle of the US Army of that time. It was slowly being replaced by the Crack. And actually its predecessor is the Springfield 66 from like 25 years ago. So this is one of the weapons you would expect an army force rolling into this area to bring the most. So we wanted to have a weapon that was kind of feeling like there's a thematic fit in there. And we chose the cavalry version, which is like the more stubby, shortened version of it, rather than a full sized rifle, because it's a nice trade-off as well, like between like this more compact nature and the power it brings. So this is a single shot rifle, which actually is size 3, which means you can have so much more options to kind of combine it in the new inventory slot system compared to, let's say, a Sparks or a Martini Henry, which are size 4.
Exactly. Kind of stands out in that, and has a really awesome sight that we'll probably see as well.
It's like the original was introduced in the US Army in 1873, if I'm not mistaken. And then there were like certain modifications, improvements to it. And the model that we're featuring here is the one with the modifications from 1890. And the biggest advantage here is just like that the front side is completely changed. So, and I think this actually really adds a lot to the weapon, also from a gameplay perspective.
Not only are we live on Rumble, we have uploaded our first video to Rumble.
For me personally, this has turned out to be quite a headshot machine.
Heck yeah.
both on the receiving end, but also sometimes being lucky having my own headshots.
Yes, we are live on
but
YouTube.
It is a very reliable
Twitch,
gun, and this will have like high velocity ammo, FFJ ammo, so you can kind of specialize with this short mid-range wallpen, or even kind of like use it over longer distances very reliably. So for me, this has shown to be a very awesome addition to the new inventory system. And yeah, there's this great thematic fit that kind of feels
mountains on Rumble
and all military theming that's going on.
And of course, we have a video prepared for this one as well. So let's take a look at the cavalry.
Oh, this is cool. I like it when they do these videos.
Here, like classic approach, single shot trapdoor rifle, or rather carbine, and very quick to reload. Obviously, you can use fast fingers with this one as well. Very nice as your main weapon with a strong backup, or even as being like an equal amongst two size 3 weapon choices, where this could be then your precision one, and maybe you have an officer carbine or something like that, like for close range, or a Lamont carbine with a shotgun added to it. So really good options for you to kind of like pair this up with.
Yeah, you can see fast fingers in action here.
Fast fingers, okay.
And this weapon just like it's so quick for long rifle ammo, like to kind of like have the repetition that fast for single shot. It feels really good. So luckily you guys can try it out very soon as well. Tell us what you think about it. We think it's a nice puzzle piece for the new inventory system that allows to build some really interesting new loadout options.
Yep.
And someone in chat actually asked when it becomes when do you unlock this new weapon? And actually it's in the battle pass, I think on the 15th level.
Yeah, exactly. So you get it early on in the battle pass, and then from there on, I think you can play it the way you want.
Thank you for the lurk again, Cap.
And with that, we actually came to the content part of the stream. And if you want to take a look at it early, we do have a partner preview event on June 5th.
That's this Friday.
That's this Friday. Today is Thursday, so in 2 days, exactly. and that will
Today's
go on, as
Wednesday.
you can see on the screen, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. CST.
Partner preview.
That would be really interesting. Like some of us developers will also be able to kind of play alongside and see if we can hold our ground against some of our partners.
It's going to be fun getting shot by our very skilled partners. We will have a good time, I think.
But they definitely join that, and of course, check
Clips
out
will
our
be
partner.
made. So.
We will be dying, they will be killing us, but it will be still fun to take an early look at the event from the perspective of our partners.
And this was all like psychological warfare, because actually we are pretty good.
Exactly.
Welcome to
And with
the
that
channel.
being said, we are going to the Q&A.
Lovies with the
segment of this
raid,
stream
my
as well.
boy.
So
Thank you. How are we doing
have a lot
today?
of questions collected.
I got tabbed up,
from,
cleaning up and off to my dinner spot. Heck yeah.
moderators and community managers as well. So I'll just be laying it on you guys. First of all, we have been
messing around here, and we are now live
from Julian,
on
Roy, and
Twitch,
Yeti Fever.
Kick,
one of them asked,
YouTube,
is the current event already over? And the other asked, when
Rumble
does
is
the new
just
one
another
start?
YouTube,
So
really,
we
but
can tie those
looks
together.
cooler to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we still have the current
So
event running.
we're just gonna
the
try to
current
grow
event will
everywhere.
run till the 9th of June, which
And
is
I
the
was
date
wrong because
that
I
the
only
new
have
event
3 followers
begins.
on Rumble.
So basically, you have like a
All
bit
I
less
had to
than
do
1
was
week, so,
verify my damn
like
phone number.
4 to 5 days to
I've had a Rumble account
finish up your
for
challenges
a
and
year
get
or
ready
so.
for the new event.
get that final
But-
charm.
Yeah.
Someone asked, why does the Maxim shoot incendiary bullets?
So primarily because we wanted to overheat.
Oh, it's 84 degrees outside
fast,
already?
because that's important from balancing, but also
Man
it looks
with a
pretty,
plan,
pretty
right?
terrifying. Like,
And also
Absolutely.
so that it doesn't have any penetration,
yeah,
right?
like, so you can't just like wait in front of the door, the bunker entrance, etc., and just hose through. But you
The
have
only
to have line
problem
of
is
sight
I don't
properly,
think I can get
but yeah.
Rumble
It's a
on
mix of
my
spectacle and balance.
yeah.
multi-chat.
One question from Psycho Ghost on YouTube, actually. We know that guy. So, can we finally shoot the cannons from the fort?
No, we cannot.
Unfortunately not.
So for context, at least
Yeah, we could.
the initial cannons we had back then, I mean, they've been sitting there for like, was it 35 years since the Civil War ended? So they've been defunct, and whatever happened
But
to
if
the
you haven't
military
noticed,
that,
I got my
like,
raid
weapons that they brought in
alert
now,
to
they're
actually
apparently
show
all the powder
what
wet,
it's
I
supposed to
guess.
show.
But yeah, no.
So
We have one cool new thing
and it's
here.
not
and that
all
is
like
the
screwed up
Maxim,
everywhere.
but no cannon. Sorry.
Uh,
You can pretend though, right?
Yeah, you can, like, you can make the sound effect like boom, boom.
Yeah. Just like for Psycho Ghost, I mean, just like sit there with your
the Chukunu.
with your explosive crossbow. If you still have a couple of those around, and you can pretend to fire the cans. I mean, that's the best we can do right now. Sorry.
So the cozy Ghosty asked regarding weapon balance on Twitter, like, what is the point of custom ammo that now we made some of scarce? So how does that actually fit into the game now?
It's a good question, and I think like this question is probably like coming from like, I really like to play like that, and I can't anymore, and that's perfectly
exactly.
fine and understandable. The important piece for us is that we want to ensure that the weapons are not just only defined by the custom ammo. First off, they should be defined.
I mean,
by
and really, we should just look and see which ones are going to be more
custom
beneficial
ammo should
for
be
us.
a
Like
layer on top that
Kick
adds,
probably
like,
isn't the most
diversity,
beneficial.
gives you options, etc. Like,
You
I
know,
use this
but
for pressure,
maybe
like, I use
Rumble
the flechette
can
for the
grow,
shotgun. I can capitalize on
and
them
we
bleeding
have,
and push
you know,
in.
Rumble,
Like
Twitch,
we want that
and
to be a
YouTube,
complementary piece. In
or
some
just
cases, some of this
Rumble and
ammunition has
Twitch,
become
or just
so
Rumble and
present
YouTube,
that
or
like,
you know what
the
I mean.
weapons almost kind of like
Figure it out,
lost their
but-
identity on their own, and
I mean,
you could only ever really
Twitch
justify
has
using
gotta
them
be my
if
main.
you also had the ammunition. This
But
is something we want to break out from a little bit. So
this
now with
bot
this
has been
system change,
added.
we're first establishing more the ground, the baseline. That means some of these more powerful ammunition types are now kind of like put more to the sideline. They will be harder to get. You need to kind of like find them in the world, but they also become more precious that way. They become more interesting for you to kind of like look at these hunters on the ground if they had anything interesting that you might want to take out of the mission.
Yes,
Or
sir.
might
Thank you
go
so much for the
actively,
raid,
go
buddy. I
seek out
appreciate
some
you.
of those like custom ammo swap boxes. To
I
get
know
the
you
types.
got a lot
in general,
of busy going on.
It's a
so-
shift, and it's the start of the journey. There will be more changes to that, and lots of that will be coming from you guys' feedback. At the moment, we try to kind of paint with broad strokes a little bit. That's why we want to have entire categories that we felt are problematic being
And I like
scarce, so that
Kick,
we
I
see
really
the
do.
actual
It's
weapon
clean,
come to the
it's
fore
nice, it's,
underneath
you know.
that, and then we balance
It's
from there.
also a little bit of consistency and helps new players also understand, okay, this weapon is scarce for all, and they don't come in and saying, okay, why can I equip Dum Dum on the packs versus not on the main art sniper or stuff like that.
There was one sub point I think we kind of skimmed over quickly earlier when we talked about the special long ammo and the special medium ammo, is that, for example, on the Dolch, we actually also made a decision to remove the FMJ ammo completely. That is, again, for the same like consistency and ease of readability, also for new players, to say, like, because it's an entire category that is scarce, we don't have individual pieces like this weapon, but this is scarce, but this isn't. Like, it was very, very convoluted. It was very, very, very noisy. But because the Dolch FMJ stood out, and we don't really want to bring it back into the normal pool because it's just almost like a real just a regular upgrade, because the base ammunition is already using the custom ammo boxes or the special ammo boxes.
I gotta remember what
it didn't really feel like it was having similar drawbacks like FMJ had for other weapons. So therefore the decision was made just for simplicity and
I gotta remember what my multi-chat is under
to just take it out and have a consistent language.
Some more questions. I've seen Carnageron asking it many times during the stream, but when will the weapon contest skins will be added to the game?
I don't know the exact roadmap, but I think
what we said that we don't have an exact number. We are working on it. It takes some time, of course, to talk to the creator and just, of course, work on the skin as well. But it will come in some major updates. So it takes some time to produce skins. But it will be coming, and of course we will be announcing it, and you will know about it. Yeah. So we did not forget. It was just like 100 times. So
what? There was a contest?
What?
Yeah. Did I turn off the oven, Ben? I forgot something.
God damn it.
I mean, other than
Rashi asked, is there a plan to make traits increase weapon size in the system anytime in the future? For example,
probably start going live on Kick again as well. I don't know. I never had a real person come through in over a year going live on that.
Probably not.
PC seems to be happier when I'm only live on Twitch through OBS and TikTok.
Never. Like, we have to see how the system matures now, and maybe there's some opportunities.
My streaming PC does really well, but I mean,
any plans like that.
And I'm not trying to brag about it by any means. I'm really not. But I built my streaming PC that's probably better than a lot of gaming PCs.
The question that
so like it can handle a lot, and I built it that way.
What about Gunrunner?
Designed it that way to make sure that I could
back Gunrunner. If it ever were to come back in the future,
that way
probably
I usually
would just do the same thing as Quartermaster.
Never had any problems.
But again,
like
we don't have any.
It's handling streaming on 4 different platforms just beautifully right now.
6 that you can get from your 5 capacity plus Quartermaster plus 1.
A fun question to you guys actually is like Purpose asking. So now that we have a new inventory system, does it make it so we will see more new weapons in the future because of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Maybe one of the reasons we did it.
Yeah. I mean, so we're starting a little bit like
a new PC for gaming and stream through my current PC. I'll be live on it all the time. Yeah.
This kind of ties into why we picked the Cavalry 1890.
With that GTA 6 PC release date,
the arsenal needs to kind of first settle now.
Yep.
Like there's lots of moving pieces. The weapons will feel differently. You need to kind of relearn like how to build loadouts in a certain way. There's new cool opportunities, but also maybe certain like pieces that you want to use are no longer possible. Going through this, understanding this, and then making your either your peace with it or giving feedback that you really hate it or whatever you want to do with this. It needs some time to settle, to get some practical like play time with this. And we didn't want to make that even more complicated by just adding more and more weapons on top of that. That's why the 1890 Cavalry is more of a basic, more easier to predict weapon. Actually feels a very specific niche. But moving forward, there will be more weapons, and we can also make better decisions. What weapons are maybe needed for this new arsenal? What niches are there? What gaps do we have in there?
Then we have Pique asking, what happens to those weapons that are currently stored on hunters and they may not fit in the inventory system anymore?
So I mentioned this when we talked about the custom ammunition and kind of like selling some of these pieces for you. For the weapons, it's a bit different. So what we're doing here is we are basically looking, okay, is this particular loadout no longer compatible? Is it illegal in the new system? In this case, we force unequip it. And what we do is like we do not delete or sell anything. They will just be basically put into the arsenal. even contraband.
I can't add rumble yet.
You don't lose any contraband weapons in this regard. It just allows you to.
So I'll just have to
kind of then pick them up from there. Maybe equip them differently on the same hunter.
Here.
Maybe if you fix that problem, now adding quartermaster in if that is now a requirement for this loadout, or do whatever you want with it. So nothing is lost there, because I understand this is a very tricky piece, of course, as you might be just like hoarding a lot of maybe contraband weapons on some of those hunters, and if then obviously unequipping them, that would be a nightmare to use all this. Maybe there's one of them is like a precious one with a skin that you just had as a trophy, and then we don't want you to lose any of that.
Chat. There
I can answer actually the next question. It was asked multiple times, but latest I see from Everetta asking if we have any plans for Twitch drops soon. Well, right now we haven't announced one yet, but you know, we always try to work on that, so please keep an eye everywhere. And
I think your eye is twitching there, Spencer.
It always is, yeah.
I have to laugh. It's in my contract.
Talking about
okay.
He promised me some
we're good.
commission.
Now I've got
works for me, sorry.
Also shout out to everyone that said hi to us.
YouTube, Kick, and Twitch chat. My
Twitch,
Rumble
of course,
chat.
Twitch drops are always a part of
you are
fun,
not,
and, we, of course,
please do. Please go over to Rumble.
Well, so keep an eye out
and look up Psycho Shot. I did post it in the Discord as well. Please go there and hit that follow button.
Foul Play Task Force
Make an account.
I think they may have
free,
missed
just
part,
like YouTube.
Because we answered most of those. So please just check back on the
Completely
vote or
free,
watch the
just
video
like
because
YouTube.
it addresses all those questions
greatly,
already. So we don't have to go into them one by one. Like the region lock with pings, etc. We already talked about those. So. And banning cheaters as well as the new systems. And as we mentioned, the Fair Play Task Force will become a reoccurring part of the streams as well. So we will be able to answer more of your questions in the
regard. Also pick up maybe some of the open questions in the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I read most of the questions because there's so
Games
many.
Has not officially announced a PC release date for Grand Theft Auto 6, with the game launching exclusively on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS on November 19th, 2026. Based on historical release patterns, the PC version is widely expected to follow 12 to 18 months later.
Of this particular weapon, or the FMJ of that particular,
likely arriving in 2027 or 2028.
Let's spice it up by just rotating it regularly. We never did. Very often for good reason we didn't. So now we are stopping that approach. There will be no rotation, but instead we're going on this per category basis and saying, like, in general, we think these are very powerful ammunition types and we want them to be scarce. And which means now if you want, for example, Dum-Dum ammunition or Spitz ammunition, you need to kind of chase that and hunt them in the mission if you want to use them as like an upgrade to your gun to specialize further.
Your guess is you'll get the new PC for Christmas 2027 or something like that around the end of your food truck season next year.
Yeah, been live for a long time. I
That's nuts. It's going to take a whole year to do that.
I really appreciate by the way that you picked up questions during the chat, because this is actually live.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We wanted to make sure that you got, because we heard that feedback. Oh, it's pre-recorded. Like,
I mean, that's a really good with some insane pre-recording, right?
Some time travel. So
I don't know how long we'll play Hunt today, but
one was asking about the,
because last time we tried, we couldn't get into a damn game. We couldn't find any players to play with.
And I can say that there's a potential fix.
So if anything, we will swap it on over to MW3.
And of course, just in general, performance and crashes are always super high.
But specifically like the PS5.
I mean, I did get to level 20 like that last night playing with you guys.
So we have some really good tentative fixes that should be coming with this update. And so yeah,
even though I was doing pretty shitty, I was feeling pretty shitty. I was a little tipsy last night.
Leave us your feedback on PlayStation if it actually.
Which I'm done with, by the way. Like I don't mind the occasional beer, but
and
I need to get myself back into health.
We answered so many questions, but of course, please leave more questions because as we now do it a bit more often, we will have more dev streams during the event as well.
Good. So, I think everybody should be doing these.
We'll try to pick up as many as we can and answer that to you as well. And also we have always surveys, etc., to also collect your feedback about all the topics.
That's great.
Yeah, what a great evening.
Lovely.
Thank you guys for being here. It was great. Also, all the other guests, thank you for taking the time. Please also let us know how you like having more guests to join and talk about their specific topics too. I think it's really cool.
It's super interesting. Like some of the trivias, like in detailed information.
Oh, I can even download my Rumble chat if I wanted to.
Enough of that.
And as of course, we are super excited to have this update live next week, so please look forward to that. And but before that, the partner preview event again on Friday.
Yes, looking forward to that one.
And I think that's a perfect time to say good night to everyone.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Time for us to float away.
Yeah, yep. See you on the road to hell.
Yeah, see you everyone, and have a great evening. Bye.
All right. See you in the bayou. Thanks for watching. Heck yeah.